Hi, and welcome back to the Brain Evolved channel. Today we have kind of a fun topic to discuss, and that is love as an older adult. So if you think dating is just for young people, think again. Did you know that older adults that date and stay socially active actually reduce their dementia risk? It's good to know that love isn't just good for the heart, it's good for the brain too. So if you're single, over 50, and wondering whether it's too late to put yourself back out there, stick around. Because today we're diving into the fascinating science behind love as an older adult. So let's start with the big question. Why does dating and romance matter for the brain? Well, it all comes down to brain chemistry and neuroplasticity. Basically, our brains are constantly changing and adapting no matter how old we are. And if we can take advantage of this process, then we can put our brains in a better place. So here's what happens when we fall in love or even just connect with someone new. First, your brain gets a dopamine boost. And dopamine is the brain's feel-good chemical. It's the same thing that gives you that great feeling when your team wins a game or when some other very exciting event happens. It's also associated with what we call that runner's high. Second, your brain releases oxytocin. Now, oxytocin is also known as the love hormone. When you hold hands, hug, or even have a deep conversation, your brain will release this oxytocin, and it actually helps increase bonding. Oxytocin reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and increases feelings of trust and connection. Additionally, social interaction is kind of like exercise for your brain. Studies show that older adults that have active social lives have a lower dementia risk. So if you've been lonely and feeling unsure about getting back into the dating scene, I would highly suggest that you consider it because it could be a great thing for your brain. So now let's address some of the challenges of dating in later life. Because honestly, dating when you're 20 is not the same as dating when you're 50, 60, or beyond. So let's talk about some of the biggest challenges and how to crush them. So one of the first concerns that a lot of people have is that they don't know where to meet people. And so it can be really hard to get started when you don't know where to get started. And traditional dating spots are usually not the best for this age group, but there are some really great options. There are a bunch of senior-friendly dating apps, things like Silver Singles, Our Time, or eHarmony. Another great place is local meetups for things like book clubs, hobbies, or social groups. I would also highly suggest activities like volunteering or dancing, or even just taking a class to learn something new. Another concern that we get a lot is that you feel nervous or out of practice. And this is completely legitimate. Confidence is a muscle and it gets stronger every time that we use it. So if we start small, we're likely to have more success. So here's a few examples of how to do that. Try engaging in friendly conversations with new people. Cashiers, baristas, bank tellers, anybody that you meet when you're out and about. This will just give you some good practice with having the confidence to approach a stranger. You should also remind yourself of all the great things that you bring to the table, because you are valuable and important, and anyone out there is lucky to have met you. A final area that I want to address is the fear of rejection. So of course we had this fear when we were younger and we still have it now. It doesn't go away. It's one of those things that unfortunately stays with us. What we want to try to remember that fearing rejection or being rejected doesn't have anything to do with age necessarily. It's really about finding the right fit. So as much as possible, try to see a rejection as a redirection to a better person. So let's say that we've scored a date. Now how do we execute on that? Well, of course, I'm going to recommend trying to incorporate brain healthy activities into the date. So let's get started with some ideas. So something brain healthy would be like, instead of just going out for dinner, try something more interactive, like an actual cooking class or a painting class. Maybe it's trivia night or dance lessons, or maybe you go on a long walk for a deep conversation. If you are not the one planning the date, don't be afraid to experience something new. It could actually be really great for your brain health. Another important thing to remember when you're on a date is to try to keep the communication going. A great way to do this is by being an active listener. You also really want to get to know this person. So try going a little bit deeper in your conversations. Don't just talk about the weather, really get to know them. Now, as much as I pumped up dating as an older adult, I do want to point out a couple of red flags that we really need to be aware of. Now, these things impact everybody no matter what your age, but it's really important when we're an older adult. In particular, we really want to watch out for scammers. So for example, if somebody asks you for money or refuses to meet in person or to do a video call after weeks of talking, it's probably time to end that relationship. I'm sure we've all seen it before a million times on TV, whether it's catfishing or 90 Day Fiancé. These kinds of things happen all the time. And so if you can really be on alert, you can make sure that you don't end up in one of those situations. Also, make sure that you stick to reputable dating platforms and never give out any financial information. And even if the person has passed all these very, very low bars, there's still a possibility that something is just not quite right with them. So if your gut is telling you to run, you should run. Take advantage of all that knowledge and wisdom that you've acquired over the years and listen to what your body and your brain tells you. Take your time, ask questions, and don't be pressured into anything. Okay, so let's bring it all together. The bottom line is that dating is not just for the young, and it actually can be great for older adults. It keeps your brain sharp, it boosts your happiness levels, and love, laughter, and connection never get old. So if you've been waiting for a sign to put yourself out there, this is it. So if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more of our great brain health tips. And if you have any great dating advice, please be sure to drop it in the comments. And remember, no matter your age, your heart and your brain deserve love. All right, that's all for me, and I'll see you in the next video.